Hi there, everyone. So one Collins resource that teachers really love is the Essential Conventions Checkmate. This is a great tool for reinforcing mechanics skills in students' writing, building their accountability for some of the most common rules in spelling, punctuation, capitalization, sentence structure. There's lots of ways to use Checkmate in your classroom, whether you're using the student guide or the posters. Today, we're going to talk about my favorite way, which is using it to tackle the mechanics problems that aren't FCAs. We all have our list of mechanics pet peeves. The key is to try to get a hold of them and focus on only a couple of them per assignment, but hold students accountable for making the fixes when they do make those careless errors. So let's say we have a student here like Sanvi. She is mixing up there, and there. It's not an FCA, but we can see it clearly in her second line of writing. I've taught this lesson. I've done worksheets with my students. I have a poster in my classroom, but I'm still seeing errors like this crop up in multiple papers, and it's driving me crazy. So checkmate level B, which is Sanvi's level, actually has a rule for frequently misused words. And there, and there is one set of words that are frequently misspelled. In each checkmate rule, you can see that the rule is numbered, it has the rule itself, and it has examples and explanations to help students to have on hand while they're writing. So let's get back to Sanvi's paper. I notice her error in line 2. It's not a required FCA, but it's a rule Sanvi really should know. So I'm simply going to write CM in the margin or use the comment tool in Google Docs. I'm not fixing the error. We all know that's not going to help, but I'm not ignoring it either. And better yet, I'm going to focus later on following up with students on any CMs in their work once their papers are graded and returned. And this last step is really an important step. I always build in a few minutes after students get their papers back to review their work and reflect on the grade that they got. But building in a couple extra minutes to work on checkmate rules is a really beneficial step. And the way I do this is simply having the students refer to checkmate to find out what rule they missed by rereading their work and make any fixes in color. This makes it easy for me to scan over the shoulder to see that they're doing it, and it builds accountability. They actually have to do it. I'm looking for it. Now, this is the most basic way to use checkmate, the way I most commonly use. Savi's actually a pretty good writer, minus her issue with there, and there, but some students need a little more direction in the process. So sometimes, instead of just simply writing a CM like I did with Sanvi, sometimes I might tell them what the rule is, save them a little time so they don't have to look for it, but they still have to find where the actual error is in their writing and make the fix. For students who need a little more support, or if I feel like doing a little twist, I'll circle the error and just have them tell me what the rule is and identify the fix that needs to be made. And for the students who need the most support, I'll kind of tell them everything. I'll tell them, here's the rule, here's where the problem is, and then they only have to go in and fix it. But what you'll notice is in all 4 cases, students were A, reviewing the most essential rules from Checkmate, and B, they were making the fixes themselves. If you make this part of your routine, students are going to begin to build better, more careful writing habits, not to mention the time you're going to save trying to mark and make all those fixes in their writing to really no long-term benefit. Now, there are a few things to remember if you're going to use this strategy with checkmates. One, it's easy to be tempted to annotate every checkmate transgression that you see. Don't do this. It's going to take you way too much time. It's going to be overwhelming for students, and it's really not going to make a difference. Train yourself to focus on only 1 or 2 pet peeves per assignment. Or if you're finding all different pet peeves and not really a pattern, what you might do is just mark the first 2 checkmate transgressions in each student's work and then let the rest go. At least they're going back and fixing those things, even though there still might be other errors in the piece. Secondly, while Checkmate is designed to be really student-friendly and easy to use, remember that students are still growing as writers. So annotate Checkmate rules that are really being carelessly overlooked, not the ones that are more complex and still require a little bit of coaching and instruction before mastery. So that's important so that students don't become overwhelmed. The rule of thumb is kind of think of it this way. If a student won't be able to easily make the fix on their own with referring to Checkmate and they're going to need a lot of your help, it's probably better addressed in a small group lesson than doing it this way. And finally, remember, this is about making students accountable for fixing their writing, but keep the focus on building habits. Reward their effort, praise students for their work, but keep your feedback informal. No need to burden yourself collecting these again and checking that all the changes have been made. Simply walk around the class, look over their shoulders. Because they're making the fixes in color, you're going to see if they are or aren't doing it, and you'll be able to keep them on track that way. So I hear all the time how teachers love the structure that Checkmate provides, and using it helps students to become more independent and accountable as writers. So I think this is a win-win situation. Thank you so much for watching. Keep an eye out for more tips on using Checkmate in the future. And as always, feel free to reach out with any questions or comments. We'd love to hear from you.